Barotrauma, another one in the long list of games that give you an absolute fear of the ocean. This is a cooperative adventure, and I mean magical level of cooperative, in the sense that 90% of your spells are friendly fire or CTDs. You'll be managing a submerged coffin in a world reminiscent of Sunless Sea by playing one of five roles. Because let's be real, assistant is the equivalent of giving your brother a disconnected controller. Building, updating, maintaining, crafting, healing, and shooting. Oh, God. Life in this little submarine is an engaging and coordinated endeavor. As coordinated as a bunch of drank ants in a bottle that you keep shaking. What is the equivalent of epilepsy warning but for motion sickness? What?
Bargazzo.
Anyway, salvaging and managing your resources is highly important. Expect to raid every single location you are legally allowed to, and then fight, steal, and hide resources aboard your own ship from the other players, like some sibling rivalry fighting for the last slice of pizza. Why should he get the better backpack first? Your communist leader might try to convince you that the resources should be shared and distributed equally. However, pay no attention to this madman. Besides competing with them for resources, you'll also be competing for finding the dumbest way to die. While inside your ship, your crewmates are your worst enemies. Hell, sometimes even when outside the ship as well.
Mâine sus, bă.
Note that this is not a thorough review, as my friends stopped playing, and bots seem to have an equally high IQ, and therefore I have not experienced all this game has to offer. Furthermore, while I am tolerant of some quality of life mods at most, the Bolsheviks forced me to download an extensive list of mods to play with them, and when asked about the feasibility of their economic system, I was met with stern reassurances of its efficiency. I think we all know how this went. So, be warned, my playthrough and conclusions will further be altered by these inefficient state policies.
Pula mea.
Ăla, butonul ăla.
What?
So, we are a little yellow submarine floating through the vastness of the ocean. Singular. Because we are not on Earth, we're on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. This might be confusing as current technology really is not up to par with space travel, but alas. Communications with Earth seem unattainable. Why? We do not know, and whoever tells you otherwise is lying. The game is not very clear on this, but drops multiple hints, which spawned a plethora of theories. The topside radiation, some faction here sabotaged the local Wi-Fi. Perhaps the cause is Earth itself is having issues. Perhaps it is related to the husk, or wait, the husk? Yeah, we have parasitic zombies pretty much in this game. There is Ancients, the Portal, some guy named Yahweh, which is like a super AI in reverse because it is biological. Look, this stuff is a mess. What you need to picture is Cold War era submarine tech during a Victorian like era world dabbling with ancient weird civilizations. It is mostly a sandbox experience. However, there is a main quest line which revolves around you mostly trying to fix the tumultuous situation you are in, ranging from abandoned posts being repaired all the way to ending God. So, we take our first few quests and off we go. Visually, it is a mixed bag. Do not get me wrong, the 2D visuals hold up rather well. The problem is the light play. Lights on if she's good looking, and turned off if she's not. If you mess around with candles and shit, you can create an atmosphere, but more often than not, it leads to a mass confusion. To translate this beautiful metaphor, new areas and monsters are partially obscured, which is nice. It meshes well into gameplay, forcing cooperation and keeps tension. However, it took hours of gameplay to realize there is a hidden chest here.
Fix la călcăiul meu lui Ahile.
What the fuck? Shit, okay.
Other than that, there's an abundance of models for a variety of things. If you are comfortable with 2D scrollers, you'll like this. The sound design is also adequate. A lot of tracks ranging from serene All the way to here is some free anxiety. The effects are not of the highest quality, but you will not notice it. They mesh well with your actions, and overall presentation is not perfect, but it is good, especially considering price point. Although we experienced heavy technical difficulties due to the aforementioned circumstances, the game runs just fine without mods, and I have not really seen any complaints about its performance. Regarding gameplay, we can talk about the big picture all you want. The great voyages, the wild adventures, the heroic battles. But honestly, it's all just propaganda. My first run, I did not even see an enemy. I did not even know what the hell was going on. They just shoved me in a room. I read through the wiki and some in game stuff about what my job is, and was mostly maintaining the generator. That's 90% of what you will be doing, randomly running around and performing your tasks on a burning submarine. You can have one of 6 jobs. Captain, there's usually just one of these commie pricks. They navigate the ship, use the radar, and generally manage and direct the crew, including setting their salary. Which, of course, we got none of, because this dirtbag does not believe in cash or personal belongings. Yeah. The medic. This little dude is responsible for refining, synthesizing, and administrating various happy substances. He's supposed to be in charge of the crew's health, but honestly, his medical remedies resemble the old Coca-Cola formula. Next, engineer, which I was for most of my playtime. Your legalized slavery consists of running around this pressure-resistant garbage can and, upon identifying burning equipment, attempt a minigame to repair them. Also, you are in charge of the generator, which means you have to replace and replenish dead batteries, something which happens every 10 or so minutes, of which I consistently forgot, drawing inspirational and supportive comments from my crew members. Furthermore, you handle the magical and mystical job of wiring. Next, the mechanic. Pretty much the same guy, except he repairs and interacts with the more physical aspects of the ship. He mines and refines minerals, repairs the hull, and manages the maintenance of, again, various equipments. Security officer. Ensure the Bolshevik oppression is maintained by dealing with enemies both internal and external. He mans the turret and engages in hand-to-hand combat. Oh yeah, there are reasons to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Big and small enemies. Outside the confinements of your tin can, which once they peel the hard exterior, they reach the juicy and nourishing insides, filling it with liquids and their children. This analogy is all over the place. Hull breach equals water and pressure, which can kill you, and small enemies, which can also kill you. Security dude has to deal with them. And lastly, the assistant. I don't know, the guy seems to have no proficiencies and it is supposed to be good at everything but not excellent. It's supposed to be a pressure-free role that can help ease in new players. However, we did not have enough of them, so we were thrown straight into the abyss. No one was an assistant. I have no idea what this guy really does. Each class has perks, levels, and experience, and gets more proficient with their tasks the more they perform them, in a very Skyrim-like progression system. Overall, there is enough mechanics here to almost feel like a submarine sim. Almost. The start is a bit rough, as no one will have any idea what to actually do, and not due to enemies or quests. Your own stupidity and that of your crewmates will, more often times than not, get in the way of your continuous desire to enjoy oxygen. Forgetting to replenish your tanks, accidentally locking yourself out, forgetting about pressure, the consistent navigational failures of the captain, general friendly fire, and baiting you into stupid scenarios for fun.
Intră, du-te în sus, că e safe.
Da.
Du-te,
Poți să dau
du-te.
respawn now sau I'll wait?
Trebuie să dai respawn now.
Da, safe.
Eu zic să dai restart.
Laser, frate.
These will be the majority of your death causes. The game really offers a pretty good exploration mechanic, allowing you to interact with a lot of systems and fulfill diverse objectives and push through varied environments and enemies that you have to figure out. On the subject of objectives, there is also quests in this game of a wide variety. Go gather minerals, kill stuff, re-enable power on abandoned stations, etc. Then you may use the money to buy the various items or upgrades for the ship through the several factions in this game. The European Coalition. The guys trying to maintain some semblance of law and order. Mind you, not of the goodness of their heart. The people of Europa were starting to talk about freedom and stuff, and they just hired paramilitary outfits to make sure the boot is firmly pressed on their neck. The Jovian Separatists. This guy initially were a political party advocating for a more democratic and lenient ruling system. However, an accident, which was probably an orchestrated attack, wiped out its core members and lost the elections, which in turn caused tensions, which caused violence, which caused repressions, which caused more tensions. And the never ending cycle turned them into a violent faction, branded the same way a Saddami boy was. The Church of Husk. They worship the husk because the transformations which the virus subjects the human body to also enable it to survive the oceanic pressure. And therefore, they believe this is humanity's next step in the ladder of evolution. Pretty much the same cult from Dead Space 3 and has all the flavor a religion is expected to have, from prayers all the way to forced inductions. The Children of the Honk Mother. They leave weird boxes on your sub, and yeah, I'm not talking about the clowns. Fuck this. Some more things to note. There is a multiplayer, but it mostly devolves into weird RPing, homicidal sprees, and whatever this is. Gameplay on these servers differ wildly from the base game in so many ways I cannot cover, and usually require mods, of which there are quite a few of. Just looking through the mods I was forced to install to play with my friends, what are these things even doing? And if I ask them about it, they say it is essential and it will certainly not break the game. Well, it broke the game on numerous occasions. In fact, the reason we stopped playing was due to the fact we could no longer play. Constant crashes, desyncs, and God knows how many unnoticed errors. Overall, I suggest getting some quality of life mods and play with friends. The bots are problematic. I don't think this is due to the developers not caring. It's just there are so many tasks and so much stuff to do that it is far more complicated to make a working bot in a game like this than in other ones. Overall, Barotrauma succeeds in providing something in between a co-op submarine simulator and a sandbox RPG. Exploring the ocean as well as the game mechanics and learning the various enemies and tools is a satisfying experience. I enjoyed my brief time with this little game, and the situations allowed me and my friends to really create some memorable moments, filled with awe, fear, or general fuckery. Given its visuals, you might be thinking the $35 price might be too much. However, I assure you, there is a huge amount of mechanics and content that lie at the bottom of the sea of this game. Also, during sales, it goes for roughly 18 bucks. The only thing keeping this from being an easy recommendation is the co-op requirement. If your friends do not seem interested in this kind of game or you have no one to play it with, it will probably not be worth it. That is all about this game, and I will see you next time.
Ne faci?
Ah, ok, dar mor eu.
De ce?
Că o
Oh,
intra la
bă,
mine
fac, ăsta e
chestii.
viu.
Oh, ce căcău mare! Intră cu aia, zici că